Hello. Here I am. I'm here. Showing everything off. Little. There we go. Okay. See who comes in today. So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me. So, give it a few minutes. See who comes in. See who doesn't. You know, had a lot to cover. That's for sure. Rabbit. Make sure you take your cinnamon, blow it to your front door, and giving your first thoughts and moments to the universe and to God and to whomever you believe in the highest power, whatever. So giving that first moments to the divine. And yeah, are you guys ready? Are you ready? And now, okay, first of all, when I talk, which I do, I talk. Yes, I talk. When I talk, I am talking with using astrology. That's, a lot of the basis that I use, the information that I get and my intuition. Okay? So this is astrology plus my intuition coming together to give you a message of preparedness. That's what I do. I'm just going to be called the preparedness mama. That's what I think I'm going to just change it to the preparedness. Because there's a lot that I feel for people that they're just not ready for. And even though the signs are there, and I said, starting off August is going to bring in some craziness, and it already has. I mean, we've had the assassination of Hamas and the leader of Hamas. And so, of course, they said that they're going to retaliate. We have that. We've had a lot of things happening on, and just let me say, the Olympics. And the Olympics is just trying to promote a global idealist way of thinking, so you can get upset about it or not, whatever. But that's what it is. But I feel with so much that is going to be coming in, and just looking at some of the astrology, then I had to sit with it. Then I had to listen to a couple other astrologers who are just they just blow my fucking mind every time they do shit. Just really brought into understanding all the timelines that are coming in at once. So we have a timeline which is, if you the American history, 1860 there was the DNC. The DNC was split. Now, if you're not sure what the DNC, if you are American, please look that up, because you're going to see some crazy fucking shit coming down on the Democratic Party. And especially things that are hitting Kamala, love her, leave her, I don't give a shit. Trying to promote her. She's going to have, there's just going to be a twist that's going to come out, because they also have a timeline of when the WikiLeaks came out and information on the WikiLeaks with the DNC. So we have craziness there. So there's going to be a lot of craziness when it comes to the politics within the United States, and things are just going to get very crazy when it comes to the elections with the Democratic electoral person for running. So that's going to be interesting, and we're going to have some crazy information that's going to be leaked out. That's coming in, because this is where, August 2016 was the end of the Obama era, and that's when WikiLeaks came out with some DNC, and then we have the same alignments that are coming in today. Oh, I'm just looking at my, I can never get them straight. I'm going to give up on eyebrows. Just saying. I'm giving up on eyebrows. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give up on my eyebrows. That's what I'm doing. There we go. There. That looks better. I just don't look like I have one big fucking eyebrow. So the other part too is what I found totally amazing. Some of you may not find this amazing, but I did. On May 10th, 1940, Pluto was at 0046 degrees in Leo. And when the Olympics ceremony happened was in the exact opposite of that. And it was at 00 47 46 degrees when the Olympic ceremonies happened. So that was an exact opposition. So, and that was also when, just afterwards, when Mr. Guy with the funny mustache invaded through Belgium, came around through Belgium. Now, a lot of things have happened through this Olympics. We've had the lights cut, the electricity cut. They've tried to make this Olympics very, I don't know, sustainable, I think the word is. And it's just gone tits up, where athletes aren't getting enough food because they thought they'd just do plant based foods, but didn't understand everything that an athlete needs to consume. They need protein. They didn't have enough protein. So they're running short of eggs and meat and stuff. I think the English team brought in their own chef. One team, I think the American basketball team, went and stayed in their own, got a whole hotel and to stay in there because there's no air conditioning. And plus the beds aren't, because they made the beds out of cardboard. So they wouldn't, even though they gave out over 30,000 condoms, so that the athletes would not, do the nasty deed, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, cray, cray. And the thing is that, which is crazy. Then you had the railway lines cut. Now, taking a look at where the railway lines, now, if you take a look at where the rail lines were, where the three lines, then you take a look at where the invasion of Germany came in from Belgium, it's exact. I don't know, just crazy. Call me crazy, but that's it. So we have all of these athletes in one spot, except Russia. They didn't allow Russia. Interesting. Interesting fact. They didn't allow Russia. They allowed Ukraine. They allowed everybody else, but they didn't allow Russia. So that's kind of an interesting factor right there. So we have all of this, and nobody's paying attention to Ukraine right now or Russia right now. Everything's happening in the Middle East and the craziness that's going to uproar there. And this is where, and even with our prime minister, I was going to say president, but our prime minister just issued, after everybody saying, as soon as Hamas, the guy got killed, popped off, everybody said, get the fuck out of Dodge, everybody, except our prime minister. It took him a little bit because we don't know where the fuck he is. He's in Tofino, but nobody knows where he is or what he's doing. He's not really saying anything. So, and then we had a terrorist attack, or a stopping of a terrorist attack here for Toronto. Interesting. And so all of this, and we've heard from the opposition, but we haven't heard from our prime. Like him or not, he is our leader, supposedly, but he's not saying fuck all. So we got that going on. So with all the craziness that's really stirring up, and this is now, here's my intuition. I see this craziness and I see this pot stirring. The pot is blue. It's a very dark blue. And then in comes this traces of white that's getting mixed in with it. And it's spiraling out of total control with this top spinning. Now it's a top spinning. So we have the spiraling top spinning that's going totally out of control with everything that's going on. And with Paris, this is where, shall we say, something happens after the Olympics. We got all the countries there. I mean, you can go back because you got the timeline of the Iran-Contra. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's 1985. And the shit that went down with that, and the hostages that were taken then. So we have this top that's spinning, and it's starting to spin out of control. And security is starting to heighten around the athletes, especially the Israeli athletes right now at the Olympics. And this is where we need to look more concerned about, not be so concerned about identity politics, because that's what they're trying to push. I find it interesting that the universe is pushing us more away from globalist and globalization. Anytime they're trying to bring in some globalization, it gets pushed out. Anytime someone's trying to make some kind of factor of saying this is the way that you need to go, you're going to get pushed out. So even in within your own life, if you're feeling like this is what I want to do and I'm going to go ahead and do it, the universe is going to nudge you in a different direction if that's not where you're supposed to do. And I know it personally because they just drop a fucking bomb on me and just like, okay, no, you're doing this and you're taking care of yourself over here. This is what you're doing right now, mama. And the thing, you have to go with that flow. You can get upset, you can get mad, have a temper tantrum, but you got to go with the flow and you got to go and honor your energy and honor the flow that's moving in for you. Because with everything that's going on, and we have in around, especially, and we're going to go back to the Olympics where they had what they called the Iron Defense Fortress and the Olympic Zero Security Zone. The Iron Defense Fortress is the same thing in the same sort of words that they used for Mr. Guy with the funny mustache. And I find that it's where, because we become so detached, and this is Lammas, this is our first day of harvest. It is a beautiful day of celebration, of connection with nature, of bringing forth the first harvest of berries and vegetables and wheat. And we're coming into this first beautiful harvest, right? And we have lost such a connection with the earth and with the universe. We have lost it. We've lost that connection. We don't want to, we want to put blinders on. When I talk, sometimes when I go and I, get a coffee or I go out to the store and stuff and I say, oh, it's a new moon today. And they're like, really? Yeah, it's a new moon today. Or, oh, look, it's a full moon. They're like, oh, I was wondering why the moon was so big. you know, or, just like, oh, we're in the dark phases of the moon. Oh, is that why there's no moon out? I thought it was cloudy or whatever. I'm like, no, it's the dark phases. You won't see it. So people are very disconnected with the universe, connected with the ebb and the flow of how things work. And when we are so disconnected, this is where it's like the universe, the divine God, the powers that be, try and push us back into the reconnection. And in doing that, that causes people to be disruptive. That causes people, because they don't want to give up all their stuff. They don't want to look at it. But we are being pushed and things are being, where whether it's interest rates, whether it's having to do with our money, our finances, food, things along that, things like that are getting pushed and getting you to really look at what's going on. Are you paying attention to where your food is coming from? Are you paying attention to what they're doing to the animals? Are you paying attention to that? Or are you just aimlessly wandering along? I'm going to the store because, I'm a vegan and, tofu is always at the store. I don't think about where the soy comes from. I don't think about where anything else is growing. I just know that it's always at the store. So I'm not thinking about the farmer or anything else because they're bad. Because that's what I think. That's the concept that's happening. And this is where the concept's getting blown out of fucking proportion. And people are going and think people are going to get pushed. Um, and pushed in such a hard way that it's going to knock the wind out of a lot of people. And this is where, as being a light worker, as being a spiritual person, this is where you can't hide. You're being called to work. You're being called to be that high vibe. You're being called to show up even when you don't want to show up. This is where you're going to be called and saying your mind is going to be like, no, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. I am tired. I am this. I am that. But you're going to be where you show up. You're going to be able to do it. You're going to be fighting a lot of your own inner demons with the energies as we're coming out through August. as you know, because we just finished with 2 full moons in Capricorn, and the alignments are trying to get back into line, but they're really fucking out of whack right now. And the moon is so far out of bounds, it's at like 29 degrees. We're going to be feeling like we can't even connect with oneself. And this is where it's like those inner demons are going to come up, and that ego is going to come up and tell you you can't do this. Oh, don't do this, or don't do that. Oh, don't, take that step back. But you're going to have to show up. You're going to have to do what you need to do, and to be that light worker and bring out the message, or be there for that person, or do the job that you were sent out to do. This is where we are going to find that being tested and stretched. And this is the starting of the stretching. This is where you're going to find more and more when it comes to travel, when it comes to going to places, disruptions, more chaos, more crazy. I wouldn't necessarily go to Europe right now. Europe's going to be going on high alert with everything that's going to be coming down the chute. And things are going to be feeling a little bit out of hand. And one thing that people don't really understand or really look at is that there's a lot of powers that be, or different, that use astrology, or use, especially the Arabs, however you want to classify them. They use astrology, and they loved fucking fixed stars. And Mars is coming up on Aldebaran. Now, Jupiter hit Aldebaran exactly when Trump got shot and the assassination attempt on him. And he just happened to move his head instantly as that shot came out. We're also finding out now is that it was the CIA. Information is being leaked out about it was the CIA. Okay? And the disruptions that are all coming in, and Mars coming on Aldebaran is really coming into. Now, Aldebaran is a positive star, but we got the god of war coming on this fixed. Feeling that whatever you don't pick sides, but people are going to feel like I am just because I got God on my side. I am just because of this. Now, this is not going to be a Gaza, Israel kind of thing. This, especially with the assassination that just happened, this is a fucking full-blown Middle Eastern, bigger than anything that we've ever seen in our lifetime, bigger than Iran, bigger than Afghanistan, and it's going to fucking blow. And it's going to be crazy. So if you have people that you know in the Middle East, get them the fuck out. Tell them to get out. Be that light worker. You got people in Europe, tell them to say, hey, it's time to go. Pack your bags. There's a reason my mama didn't get a chateau. So this is the time. This is the awakening. This is like, okay, we got to get, because we also have World War II coming in. And we're going to be hitting World War II bigger than what we ever thought. It's not going to be what we thought, or like little, oh, hooray, let's wave our little flags. It's not. And that's where the light workers come in. That's where you come in. That's where your spirit, your light, your prayers, your meditations, all are coming into a culmination. And this is the start date, August 1st, of it all uncoming. And it's going to be bigger than what people ever thought. If you got kids that are in the age of conscription, start making fucking plans now for them. Because you think, especially this weekend, when Mars is going to hit Aldebaran, we're coming into a new moon. Venus goes into Virgo and hits a yod, and that yod, when Venus goes into this yod, is the yod of invasion every single fucking time, without fail. And I know this is like, people are like, oh, mama, you just stop saying with the doom and gloom. It's just that I've been warning you. I've been telling you. I told you August is going to come in, and it's going to come in with a bang. It's going to come in with craziness. We are seeing civil unrest in England right now, where now they're saying that anybody who is British that is protesting, arrest them. Well, they're not arresting anybody else, though. Just saying. They're just arresting national Brits. Nobody else. So there's that's accumulation of frustration. Venezuela, accumulation of frustration. We're going to be seeing accumulation of frustration that's going to be happening over this weekend. And we are going to have to look at what we are identifying as spiritual, as a light worker. Because the thing is that it's not to choose sides. Really, it isn't. This is where I know it's going to be hard because we people are like, a lot of people are going on, hey, let's go Christians, onward Christian soldiers kind of thing, and Israeli. I know it's hard with the other side because it's what their motto has to say, but there is a stirring and a mix that's happening over there with them as well. So this is where it's feeling like, this invasion that's coming in, and is very similar to the invasion of the Christians into the Holy Land, and how the fight went from there, and how things are just going to escalate from here. So we have, with Mars going on Aldebaran, Venus going into Virgo, it's going to form a yod. We have a full moon or new moon coming, and if you're wanting a new moon reading, get a hold of me. They're $40, and it'll be delivered to your this weekend. And to be prepared, this new moon is the dark phase. Like, we're in the dark phase. We're in the devil phases right now, and things are going to be starting to close out. And trying to get basically after the 2 full moons in Capricorn, trying to get the lunations back on track. It's like things are feeling out of whack. People aren't feeling centered. They're feeling a little bit unsturdy, unwell. And this is really looking at where Mars is, and where Mars went direct in 2023 at 8 degrees. And now we're crossing over that. Where Venus is just off of where she went retrograde last year, and we're 2 degrees away from that. And this is like rapid circumstances, willing to make change to the heart and the happiness. This is where things, this is where your road might be pivoting, where you think, and it's going to push you to where you need to go. And fighting it is going to be, your mind and your heart, and the criticisms are going to come in within you, and you're going to try and fight it and say, no, I can't do this. And we are wanting to feel, and I feel like this is like we're wanting to spread that seed, that new seed that's out there, and stepping forward within this new seed and stepping into this new seed. Yet the seed is not sprouting up. It's where we are rooting, and where your roots are, and looking how strong your roots are where you are. And if your roots aren't strong, you're going to be pulled out, and you're going to be blown to where they need to go. And it may feel weird, and the population and the spirituality. So this is coming into our love and our grace, and we need to come into that love and grace especially with this new moon. And we're going to find where people are going to feel hopeless. They're going to feel, that abandonment. But there is a pivot. There's a force that's coming in that's going to force you to really pivot and go towards where you need to go in order for you to be the best light worker that you need to be. And sometimes it might be that you're uprooted, your job ends, a new job begins. I just got a notice that they want me back at Acadia. And I said yes. I mean, it's something, And I'm looking at, okay, I'm being pulled to there, but I don't know why. But it's also I'm looking at, okay, I've asked for something to bring in something steady, and this is steady. So twice a week, 10 hours a week, I'll be there at Arcadia, working the front desk. So, and it's in the evening, so it's not stressful. And so this is pivoting. This is where, you might think things are going to feel hopeless, but something is going to come in. And the world is going to feel a little bit chaotic. And I said to prepare for a war economy, and that's where we're heading, into this war economy. I feel like, especially with what's going to, with the election and with things that are going to happen in Ottawa in the fall, it's going to be a crazy, disruptive, mismanaged bit of energy that's going to come forward. And I can feel like the war horses are coming out, and where the war horses have to come out and they have to be seen. So this intensive, this transformation that's coming forth is a huge one. And it's a preparation of what we need to start doing for ourselves and for those around us. Declan Joe says WW3, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, now I'm getting all over the thing about attempts on Trudeau and stuff like that. That I knew about that about a week ago or so, but there's always attempts on him. And some people doing some stupid shit, you know. But we are ready. What do you mean when you say we are ready? Do you think Canada's ready? I don't think Canada's ready. I don't think the people are ready. I think the East is really fucked up, and they're so overwhelmed right now with the homeless, and that's a huge thing. We have so many camps starting up with um, homelessness, especially in the East, and people coming in. Oh no, no, Canada's not ready, and it's our government, where we are and who we are so fucking stretched. It's unbelievable, as a government, when it comes to the people and it comes to what's there. And also with this is that people are unprepared for the sleeper cells that are here. People are not prepared, because Canadians are like, oh yeah, we just love them. It's not to choose a side, but it's also to protect yourself. It's, as I say, love is not, puppy dogs and kitty cats and fluffy unicorns. Love is taking a stand and saying, I'm not going to put up with that bullshit. That's not right. That's what you are doing. Going in, like what happened in England, going in and stabbing a bunch of little girls dancing is wrong. Going in and trying to blow somebody up because you don't like them is fucking wrong. Okay? That's wrong. Why do you think the Brits are getting uphand? Why do you think the Irish are they're saying no more illegals into their country? Because their young girls, the ages of 12 and 13, are getting raped. There's a reason why when it comes to the Muslim religion, a lot of girls, they get them to start to wear the hijab when they're 9. There's a reason why they do that, and that's because a young girl, usually around the age 9, 9 is a a beautiful age for kids, but it's when they're not childlike anymore. They become aware. So 9-year-olds, when their mind, because it also has to do where Saturn is in their chart. And so this is like the first, where things really start to change, right? It's their first quarter square. And from childbirth. And then, when they're 15, 16, that's when they come into the opposition. When they're 8, this is where these changes start to happen within themselves. Now, with young girls, this is when, puberty really starts to hit girls 9 and 10. Let's now they can't be, they have to be covered so they don't um seduce a man, or whatever their mentality is with all of that. But that's where they're covered, right? So what's been happening, and if you want to watch a documentary, Silent, it is horrific, and it is to see what has been going on in England for several years, since before 2016. Like, this has all been implemented way before, but 2016 is kind of like that crucial time when things, people started to take notice, right? And where young girls getting seduced by these foreign men, giving them money, giving them things, and girls sneaking out of the house because, ooh, look at all what they're going to do, being seduced by drugs, which is the chemical warfare. Is one. They have 4 steps. Chemical warfare is one. Infiltration of silent cells is another one. Terrorism. Oh, there's, anyways. So this is where they come in and they steal these young girls, and they usually start around 10, 11, 12, 13, and they rape them, and they get them hooked on drugs. And this is where a lot of girls go missing too. And this has been happening in Ireland, and this has been happening in England, but it's been covered up, and the government doesn't want to do anything. And, oh no, you're just being prejudiced. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, there's nothing wrong with 32 mosques opening up in less than 5 years. You know, this is a reality. This is what people are starting to rise up against. They're rising up, not necessarily, there are the people that follow that ideology, but they're rising up because they want to keep their children safe. They want to keep their family safe. And our government's not doing it. That's part of this wake up. That's part of this weekend that's coming in. We're seeing it with our prime minister not coming out and saying a fucking thing. They're not there. They're there only for a different agenda, and they're allowing for certain things to happen and unfold for whatever purpose. But the thing is, the universe, as the more they try to make a global attempt, the more they try to make everybody come under one ideology, one system, the more it starts to crack, the more it starts to get disruptive. And it has to crack. It has to get disruptive, because that's when people start to say, what the hell? Right? And with the cracks and with the disruptions that unfold, get people to start to realize, okay, we're not following this agenda anymore. We're not doing this anymore. And people wake up. Now, with the election in the States, and it's not so much the election. It's not so much the election. And I know there's going to be craziness with the election, but what I learned today, it's about the inauguration, which happens on January 20th. Which is interesting, because January 20th is kind of like a key date when shit goes down. But that is when the sun and Pluto conjunct in Aquarius on January 20th. And that, this is where something's going to happen with that inauguration. Will it happen? Will it not happen? Will it be postponed? Because the inaugurations used to be in March. So we have that, and that's in January. And if it happens in March, we know that there's a lot of things that are going to be unfolding in March of next year, and things coming to a big head in March. So this accumulation, these cracks that are coming up, and these things that are starting to explode in and around, not only within our personal lives, but within the world around it. And these are going to be rapid circumstances, and we've got to be willing to make the change to the heart and happiness. We got to be willing to make the change, being willing to pivot. We have to. If you're going to stand there and say, no, I'm not going to do it, that's when you're going to be pushed that way anyways. You're going to be pushed. I just got the hand of God saying, nope, This is what we're doing. And that yod with Venus is really a big yod. And this yod with Venus is saying this, I mean, because this is the end of Pisces age. So this is the end of Pisces was Jesus Christ coming to earth. Pisces was, we have to go out to find Jesus. This is coming into Aquarius. Now, Aquarius age, people are thinking is like, kumbaya, here we come. Aquarius age isn't kumbaya, oh yeah, let's go. It's very sci-fi. It's alien, it's scientific. It is different communities coming together. Very the Mel Gibson movie, they go out in the middle of the desert and everybody's fighting out against each other. It's very much that. That's very Aquarius, right? It's like the opening games when ceremonies, when you saw the guy on Versailles and he's just like bringing in his guitar and his guitar is lighting on fire. That's fucking Aquarius to the hilt, man. Just crazy, bizarre nuttiness. Because in Aquarius, when we go back to 1778 and for the next 20 years, we saw the Civil War happen. We saw where eventually when it comes to the Declaration of Independence was written, but it wasn't written right away. It wasn't written in 1776. It wasn't written for another fucking 10 years after. We saw where there was unrest in France. Okay. So we saw all these unrests happen. We saw where, especially where Pluto opposition where Pluto was during World War II, in the opposition where Pluto is going to be as it goes into Aquarius and the disruption. And that's where, when Pluto was in Leo, people came together. They want to fight for a cause. They want to bring things together because that's what Leo does. Aquarius isn't like that. Aquarius does not necessarily, let's bring everybody together by the heart. It's ruled by Uranus. It wants to bring you to a higher spiritual status. It's a higher end of Mercury. It wants to bring you into knowledge, to understanding, to a spiritual transformation. And sometimes it's in a place where you don't want to be, or you don't like, or you don't want to see. That's what it is. And that's what we're going to be going through for the next 20 years. This isn't where people want to have babies. This is where people are looking at the world in a different way. And this is where things and information are going to come in. I mean, they just went to the dark side of the moon during this, in between full moons, and they found graphite on the other side of the dark side of the moon, where they supposedly have never been before. But graphite is used in so many things. Graphite's in the elixir. So graphite is used for making things and computers and all kinds of things. I'm not scientific on that level, but I know it's quite important to doing stuff. The Chinese found it there. So we have that. We have the, where in 2019, Oumuamua, the spaceship, was in our stratosphere, in our solar system. And it was identified as a spaceship. The same time when Google computer started up, they spotted Oumuamua. And the Oumuamua, the study was basically, I think, was watching its baby start up, which was the Google computer. If you're not sure what the Google computer is, Google the Google computer, the power, and you'll see it looks like a fucking alien. And how all the programs are like 6 feet apart. How weird is that? But who knows what little pods this little thing sent out and sent into our world. All right. Who knows? There's some crazy shit that can, you can go down some really crazy conspiracy with that. But this is where, we're coming in, and the kinks are going to get weird and things. And this is where it's like coming into the loving grace and coming into our support, because that's where things are going to start coming together. So if you haven't ordered a new moon reading, or if you want readings until the end of the year, 2 readings each month, a new moon and a full moon, they're $360. So if you want a new moon and a full moon reading between now and the end of December to keep you up and abreast of what's going on in your chart and how all of this is going to, how it's going to help you and guide you upon the transformations and crazinesses. That's my new word. Crazinesses. Is there crazinesses that are unfolding in this world at this time? Yeah, crazinesses. That's my new word. I like to make up words. Whew. Can feel the heat coming in, baby. The heat is coming in. The heat is on. Took the dog for a walk this morning. Man, there were so many people out this morning for our walk. I mean, she's just like freaked out at all these dogs. She's freaking out at people. She's hiding behind me, barking at this one guy. He thought she was hilarious. It was just like, oh my God. And now she's passed out. She's like, I'm done. And also, if you are wanting to buy me a coffee, which would be greatly appreciated, you can send a donation to thegubermama@gmail.com. Love Buy Me a Coffee because it really does help. Not only to buy me coffee, but, prescriptions, other things that we are needing in our home as well. So let's pull a card. It's okay. It's not. Let's say what it isn't. It isn't the Tower. It isn't the Tower. So that's a good thing. It isn't the Tower. But it is the Hangman reversed. So this is the Hangman. It's an indication that you have been making countless sacrifices. And without expressing a proper payoff. So this is about what makes you truly happy, or are you being pressured onto an uncomfortable path? Well, I would say right now you're being pressured to go onto an uncomfortable path. It's not going to be the way that you would like it to be. And this is where you have to mull things over and surrender to your inner light and allow for the guidance to come through and guide you. So, because it's not going to be, the way that you wish it to be. I mean, the Ace of Wands wants everything. It's the beginning of wands. It's beginning of fire. It's beginning of passion, wanting things to spark off, to look a certain way, but they're not going to look the way that you would like them to look. So you got to take some time and look at the delays that are happening in your life. Look at maybe the progress and give yourself, gratitude and love for the things that you have done and the things that you have come forth. Maybe you're feeling stuck and in a situation you can't get out of. So it's important not to judge and to really sort of recenter yourself, because this is not looking at what's sprouting. It's looking at what is rooting and looking at that rootness, because the world as you know it is not going to be the world that you know, because it is changing. What is up is down. What is down is up. And if you think they're going to win the Middle East, it's going to be an interesting one. So know that change is in the air, and the change is big. It's not a little change. It's not just a little one. This is like big. This is wake up. This is like grab your popcorn, grab your bottle of wine. Oh, I wish I could grab a bottle of wine. But grab it all and just sit back. Allow your guidance to come forth and be with you, in you, and around you, and all you say, and all you be, and all you do. Sending you out so many blessings. It is going to be a little bit turbulent, but we can do this. We can get through this. We got a ways to go, but it's step by step. Step by step. Ooh, baby. So no, it's just we're just going to, move along. Anyways, have a great one, everyone, and get out there. Be good. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye.